this session about QuickBooks Online, where I'll be showing you the basics. I'm Katie, a chartered accountant and QuickBooks certified trainer. I've also run my own business. I'm really excited about the product and can't wait to show you how it can help you in your business. So let's set the scene. Whether you have QuickBooks already or are thinking about getting QuickBooks, whether you are in business already or thinking about starting up, I want to show you how QuickBooks is going to help you. So what will we cover today? I'll be taking you around the navigation of QuickBooks to get to know the layout and the menus. Next, we'll have a look at money in. It's really important to understand your sales and income, whether that be recording customer invoices or immediate cash sales. I'll also show you how you can quote for new work from the mobile app, which is great if you're rarely in the office. It is also really important to understand your money out. So we'll look at the options for recording your business expenses in QuickBooks and have a look at a feature in the app which can help save you time recording these. Then we'll have a look at linking your bank to bring all of this payment information together. This really makes life easier, reducing the manual data entry and recording the whole business picture. We'll take a look at some of the other features in the mobile app and show you how you can access your data anytime, anywhere. And it's a really powerful tool. Then on to reports and getting some real insights into how your business is doing. The key reports are already in there that will give you the information that you need. So why is all of this important? We all need to understand our financial position when we're in business. I'm sure you've all heard that stat that 50% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years, and more than 80% state cash flow as the reason. So you really need to understand what your cash flow is. So how much is coming in and how much is going out and when. And QuickBooks can help you find all of this out and quickly. So I'll move into QuickBooks Online now. I've got a company already set up and I'll be using this to demonstrate with today. So first up is the navigation, the dashboard. When you sign into your QuickBooks, the first thing you'll see is your dashboard, the home page. Immediately, it's showing me how my business is doing without me having to do anything. These mini reports in these tiles here give me a great insight into my profit and loss. The expenses wheel shows me a breakdown of my expenses. I can see the overdue invoices and also a snapshot of my sales over the last 12 months. I can use these drop-down arrows to change the time frame if I need to. I can drill down into these reports and look at some of the detail of what makes up these figures. We'll be coming to looking at reports later. So on your left-hand navigation panel, we've got this new button where you can click on it, and it is where you create all of your entries. So whether you're choosing something for your customers or your suppliers, we can then choose from the list. We'll be choosing a few things from this list later in the webinar. Below that, we have our different headings. So these are our menu headings. You can click on them to take you into that area. Some of them have subheadings, as you can see. So you can hover over them and then click on the submenu. We'll be visiting some of these areas later on as well. So that is our basic navigation. It's easy to find your way around, and you can always click the dashboard to come back to this screen. So now I want to move on and talk to you about our money in. So recording your sales and income. There are a couple of ways to record your sales in QuickBooks. So you might have a business which sends invoices to your customers, or you might have a business where you sell your products and your services and you get paid straight away. Or you may have a bit of both. So I can show you both these options now. So from the new button, I'm going to create an invoice. I'm sure a lot of you send invoices in your business, so I can show you how quick and easy it is to do it in QuickBooks. So on an invoice, The important pieces of information to enter are your customer name, the invoice date, what you sell, VAT if you're VAT registered, and the total. So we start up at the top left and move through these boxes. So in this example, I've got a regular customer who I provide event services to. She's called Sophie Howe. So I start typing and I can see her coming up in my list. So I can select her. Because she's already set up, it pulls through her customer email and her billing address. That's really useful. I'm invoicing her today and I'm giving her 30 days to pay. So my due date is 30 days after. So next we come down and we look at the activity table. This is where I can record what I've sold her. So we call them products and services. I can click into this box and I can select from the list what I've sold to her. Or I can start typing and I can choose my service. So I provided her a virtual event. So I'm going to select that from the list. Because this one's already set up, it's brought through the description for me and also my rate. All I need to do is change up the quantity. So 35 people. It's already brought through the VAT rate and I can change that on the drop-down box if I needed to. So I can carry on adding whatever I sold to her. So this time I choose some goodie bags and it brings through the information and all I need to do is update the quantity in the rate. It's not got a default, so I can pop in £10 each. I can see that I've got a subtotal and the VAT has been added on for me and this is my balance due, the total. That's the content of my invoice done. So I can see that QuickBooks has calculated the VAT on top and I can see the total that I'm invoicing. There is a box down below for attachments if I wanted to attach my terms and conditions or anything else you might need to send to your customer, but I'm happy with that. I can send this to her now. So I can click on Save and Send. This is a great way of time saving. So there's no delay in the post and I can track when she views it. So I'm going to click Save and Send. Now we're back in the dashboard. You may have noticed that my figures have been updated on my profit and loss and on my invoices and my sales. I can find the invoice I've just entered from the search box up here in the top right hand corner. I call it the magic box as it's really useful and you can do all sorts from it, from finding specific transactions, maybe searching for the amount, the reference or the date, but I can also see my recent transactions. Down at the bottom here, you can see these recent transactions and there's my invoice for Sophie Howe. If I click into it, I can show you a few more features. I can show you a couple of ways that QuickBooks can help you get paid faster. So firstly, when you start using QuickBooks, you can change the look of your invoice to add your own logo, update the colour scheme and the font so it reflects the branding of your business. You'll also need to add your bank details so customers know how to pay you. You can create a new style here under Customize on the black bar and click on New Style. That will take you through the setup of your invoice. Also, at the bottom of my invoice, I can scroll down and show you the Activities area. This is where I can track when I sent the invoice to her and when she's viewed it. That way, I can follow up with her and know when to expect payment. At the very top of my invoice, I can choose to set up some of these payment options, so accept card payments or set up direct debit. This is just another way to help you get paid faster. So what happens if you don't send invoices, but you take money at the same time as you deliver your goods or sell your service? You would need to use a sales receipt. So from the New button, I click on Sales Receipt. When I ran my own small business, I had an ice cream van and my customers paid me immediately for the ice creams they bought. I didn't record every single sale. What I did was count up the cash I had taken that day and put in the total. So I'm going to record one sales receipt for the whole of my day's takings. I can choose my customer called Daily Takings. This would be the same if you're a pub or a restaurant or in retail. You might even like to create a customer for each day of the week instead. So maybe have a Monday sales, Tuesday sales. And this will give you a bit more information when you come to look at your reports. You might like to run a report of sales by customer, for example. So the sales receipt looks very similar to an invoice, except you have these payment boxes. I can say what the money has been paid into. Eventually, I bank this cash, but I like to show in QuickBooks exactly what has happened in real life. So here we go. I'm going to pop in the payment method, that it was cash that I took, and the deposit to is my cash till. Now I just need to enter what I sold, just like I did before in the invoice. So add as much detail as you need to. I might want to record my ice cream sales separately from my drinks and confectionery. Or I might want to just record the total as sales. It's up to you how much information you record. So I'm going to record my ice cream sales. I don't need the quantity or the rate, but what I do need to do is change the amounts are inclusive to tax. I want to record the amount I took in my till, and then QuickBooks will work out what VAT I need to record. So pop in here 550. You can see that QuickBooks has calculated the VAT and the amount received is £550. We can add new products and services if we needed to. From the drop-down box here, we can click on Add New. Just show you how to quickly add a new product and service. So we've got these 4 different options: stock, non-stock, service or bundle. So I'm going to say that I sold some non-stock. Going to say that it was drinks that I sold. I can fill out these boxes, add a description if I need to, the sales price and rate if it's a default, and what income account I want to record this product under. So sales is fine. I might want to say it's inclusive of tax. And I can click Save and Close. So that's my drinks product recorded, and I can say that I sold £50 worth of those. Again, I can change the VAT rate if I need to. So I'm happy with my total. The total I took was £600, and I can click Save and Close. So if you're in retail, you may be able to use your till receipt to split the different types of sales. You may also be able to connect your till software to QuickBooks to help with the importing of the information. So how else can QuickBooks help you to record your sales? So I can imagine a lot of you are out all day working. You might also need to raise estimates or quotes too. And I can show you how the mobile app can help you with this. The app is a great tool. It comes free with your subscription, and you can download it onto your tablet or mobile phone, so you always have it with you. You log in with your same credentials, and anything you do in the app is reflected in the browser straight away. So in my case, when I was in my ice cream van, I didn't have to drive back home and record the day's takings. I could do it from my van directly into the app, saving me time. It's also good for quotes. So if you have a new customer or quote for new work, you don't have to have the meeting and then create a quote to send them later when you're back in the office. You can do it while you're sitting with them and email it straight away. It's really easy to do this in the app. I'm just going to show you my mobile phone screen so you can see what I'm doing on the app. Okay, so we're in my mobile and we're on the dashboard. I can show you how quick and easy it is to record an estimate. On the top bar here, we have our shortcuts, and I can click on Estimate. I can type in the name of my new client. So it's Rachel Davies. I want to put my capitals. And I can quickly add her into my system. The quote is for today, and I need to again add my products and services. So maybe I'm selling a service of £100, and I'm saying it's going to take me 5 hours. I can add a description if I want to and click Save. I'm happy with that quote. I can click Save up in the top right-hand corner. And what I can do is actually get her signature. So as I'm sat with her, I can get her approval. So I click Get Signature. And here she can sign my screen. Click Save. So now I can see at the top of my screen, I've got my quote and it's been accepted. So when I've done the work, I come back to invoice her. I can open up the estimate and convert it to an invoice really easily in the app. There's a big blue line across the top saying Convert to Invoice. It moves all of the information from my quote into my invoice, and I can add anything extra to it. So maybe I sold some extra materials for £50. Tell you a little story. I had a gardener client who used the app when it came to the free text box here in the description. Rather than typing, he used his Siri on his iPad and dictated all of the detail about the jobs he had done that day for this client and saved it on his app. So that's a way of using the technology to add a bit more detail. So I can click Save on that one, save the invoice, and then use the 3 dots up in the top right-hand corner, and I can email that off to her. So you can see the breadcrumb trail at the top, when it was sent, when it was viewed, and when it's then been paid. So that's how you can use the mobile app if you're out and about, or even just sat on your sofa. So we'll come back to the app a little bit later. So back in the browser, I'll just use the magnifying glass to show you how we've instantly got those estimates and invoice we've just created for Rachel Davies already in our browser. So I want to show you the sales area. I hover over sales and I can see the overview. See an income over time. And it also shows me how to set up those online card payments and direct debits I showed you earlier. Moving across to all sales, you can see all of those entries that I recorded this morning. You can see all of those entries I recorded, so my sales receipt and my invoice and estimate. And we've also got this really colourful money bar across the top, which I can drill down into. So if I click on the orange segment, it shows me all of the overdue invoices below. I can use the batch actions and I can send reminders for all of those overdue invoices. So let's recap on our money in. I've shown you how easy it is to record your money, whether it's an invoice or a sales receipt, and the ways QuickBooks is helping you to get paid faster. We had a look at our mobile app, where you can be anywhere at any time and still have it available to you. So next, let's have a look at our money out. So like money in, there's a couple of ways you can record your money out, depending on how you pay for things. Firstly, we'll have a look at the bills. So under the New button, from Suppliers, I click on Bill. So maybe you have an account with a supplier. You may buy things from them during the month and then pay for them at a later date. So you're given credit. You can use QuickBooks to keep track of these bills and see when they are each due for payment. So this can really help you keep track of your cash flow. So let's first see how we enter this bill. We work through the boxes. So my supplier is 123 Supplier. The terms he's given me are 30 days. The bill date is from my paperwork. So I can start typing the full date, or I can just start typing the first 2 digits of the date, and QuickBooks will fill the rest out for me. So it's the 12th of February. That's my bill date. So I can just type 12 and then move across to the next box. The reference number is 694 from my paperwork. Moving down into the category area, when you start using QuickBooks, you'll automatically be given a list of categories based on the type of business you are. So whether you're a sole trader or a limited company, it tailors the list for you. So in this example, I'm purchasing some items to resell. So I'm going to choose cost of sales. I can start typing and then choose it from the list. There are a whole range of these categories here. I can add a description if I want to, and I can record the amount. So it's £120 plus VAT. You might choose to record bills for your main suppliers only, as they're probably going to be key to your cash flow. So that's our bill, which we pay at a later date. On the flip side, we have all those things that we pay for straight away. So on our business debit card, or maybe cash, which we need to go into our books. What we can do is skip the bill stage, which is like our customer invoice, and record them as expenses, which is just like our sales receipt. I'm going to show you a new expense from the new button. So under suppliers, expense. So it's got most of the same boxes as before, but we can also record how we paid for it. I'm going to record some stamps from the post office I paid for in cash. So I start typing. I've got my supplier already set up. I paid it from the money in my cash till. Payment date was the 15th of January, so I can type 1501. The category is postage, and the amount was £16.85. So that's a fairly quick way of entering our expenses. So I'm recording all of my expenses to give a true picture of my spending. So this is what we call a manual expense. So I've saved and closed that one. If you pay for things on your business debit card out of the business bank account, then I'll show you how to enter these payments in the next screen, in the next section, banking, which is a total game changer. But first, let me show you a neat feature in the app, which can also help you save time with this manual data entry. It's called Receipt Catcher. So if you're out all day doing your work and you might stop home at the garage to get some petrol, you can take a photo of your receipt there and then, instead of storing them away to deal with later. So QuickBooks works in the background, recognising the information to save you some of this manual data entry. So I've got some receipts in front of me that I've paid, and I'm going to snap them on my mobile phone. I click on the shortcut Snap Receipt. Make sure it focuses. Try that again. So I've got my photo. QuickBooks recognises the data, picks out the supplier name and the amount, and once you've completed the rest of the information back in the browser, you'll have a picture of the receipt on the entry. So this really saves a lot of time, and it's good to keep the receipt on your QuickBooks entry so you can refer back to it if you need it. So this receipt will process now, and we'll review it back in the browser. While it's being processed, let's have a look at the next section, which is our banking. This has really revolutionised my life and the lives of many others too. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to banking. This is where we bring everything together. We've recorded our sales for the month. We've recorded our bills and who we owe. So now we need to look at the payment side of things, as this is really important from a cash flow point of view. If you link your bank account to QuickBooks, it's going to save you a lot of time, adding this next layer of information. You can link your bank account in the top right-hand corner here, link account, and follow the steps on screen. When you link QuickBooks and your bank, it's a read-only link, so each line of your bank statement comes into QuickBooks so that you're basically seeing an electronic copy of your bank statement. These are the lines on my bank statement. So if this was a live connection, this bank account balance here would reflect the exact same bank balance I had on my online banking. So this electronic bank statement is interactive as well. In the for review area, we've got each line and we need to decide if it matches something we've already entered, like those invoices and bills we entered earlier, or if we need to add it. If we need to add it, you can see that we don't need to type the date, the payee, or the amount, as it's already on your bank statement. The only thing we do need to say is what category and VAT rate it is. So I hope you're having a hallelujah moment, imagining all of the time it's going to save you. And believe me, it will. So I'll show you how easy it is to get this information into QuickBooks. So I'm going to look at the matches first. I'm going to use this filter button to select just the matched transactions. So I can see that there's a couple of, if I sort it by received, I can see that there's a couple of customers that have paid me. So I can see that this amount on my bank statement matches exactly to the open balance of my invoice. I am happy to click match. All I need to see if it's the correct invoice matching the correct receipt in, and if I'm happy, I can click match. So that's a couple of my customer invoices matched. We've got a couple of payments out. So £150 matches my 150 open balance. Again, I'm happy to click match to say that that payment out does agree to that bill. So some of the keen-eyed of you might be seeing that my in QuickBooks balance was going up when I'm clicking match for my customer receipts and going down when I was clicking match for my bills. And the number of transactions is reducing. If I look at my recent transactions up in the magic box, we've got some received payments being entered and some bill payments. And I can see that this received payment, if I click into it, has been matched from my banking screen because it's got this blue link across the top here. So this is the line on my bank statement. If I drill down into the invoice, I can see that it has been marked as paid. So this is a really big time saver. Just clicking that one word match has entered all of that information for me. So let's carry on looking at the statement lines. So this next one is for Maddie Harler. I've got £500 coming in. What it says is that there's 3 records found. So there's obviously 3 invoices in there for £500. If I click into the line, I can see those 3 invoices. By checking the bank detail, I can see that it says Maddie Harler, invoice 3045. And so I am happy that I can select this top invoice here, invoice 3045 for Maddie Harler. That's all my matched transactions. This £200 is a part payment of an invoice. It hasn't been matched as there are no open invoices for that amount, but I can allocate this amount by clicking on Find Match. If I click on the line and then select Find Match. I know that this was Colin who paid me, so I can type in Colin in the top bar and I can allocate it to this invoice 1135, which was his part payment, and click Save. So the last amount coming in is my cash banked. So this is where I walked to the bank with my cash and I transferred it into the bank account. So I can click here, Record as Transfer. The transfer account is the cash till. Record transfer. So that's all of the money in dealt with. Now I just need to look at the spent items. These are all expenses that I paid for on the card at the time I bought the goods or the services. or maybe I paid them by direct debit. I haven't already entered them into QuickBooks, so I need to add them. So there's very little input for me. As you can see here, we've got the date, the supplier, and the spent and the received. So I just have to check the middle two columns, which are our QuickBooks columns, to check that the category and the VAT agrees to what I think it should be. So I can click on the line and open up the boxes. So we'll have a look at Booker to start with. This I went to the cash and carry, and I bought some cost of sales that I'm going to resell to my customers. So I just need to change this category. It's defaulting to uncategorized expense, which I know isn't correct, and I can replace that with cost of sales. So just like we did in our bill and expense, we're looking at the same boxes, so I can change my category to cost of sales. The VAT rate's been brought on for me, and I can change it from the drop down if I need to. So that's that one added. So QuickBooks will start to remember your choices the more you enter. Let's look at another one. So I bought a laptop from PC World. So I'll click on the PC World transaction. It's already recognised that it's a computer edition, which is pretty clever. I can pop in here PC World as the supplier. I can quickly add it just by typing the words, click add, save them into my system. And for this one, I might want to add an attachment because it's a fair amount of money. And we'll have a look at the receipt capture shortly to show us how we can make this even quicker. So click add. The next one is for my van service. So I can click into it and I can show you how to use the split button. So there's two different VAT rates. This would also be the case if you had bought something from someone and you needed to split it into two different categories. So the first line is my van expenses. It was for the MOT. I know that MOTs are outside of scope, and it was for £54.85. The next line is still for van expenses, but that was for the service. That has a VAT rate of 20%, and I can see here really helpfully that QuickBooks is telling me the difference that I need to enter in. And I can apply it and accept that one. So what happens if you have several lines of your bank statement that are all for the same thing? So I've got my regular Vodafone payments. I can select the three of them by clicking in the boxes on the left-hand side, and I can use the batch actions. I can click on update. My transaction type is an expense. Payee is Vodafone. The category is telephone. The VAT rate is 20%. And I can apply and accept those all in one go. QuickBooks has prompted me to ask me if I want to create a rule. So this is a really good way of saving some time. So rather than me having to manually say that that's telephone, QuickBooks is going to help me and present me with telephone next time it sees Vodafone. I can even auto add these to add them into my QuickBooks without me having to do anything. So I can click create rule. Here's some rule that I've already got set up. If I click into the line, we can see that I've got a rule applied for vehicles, fuel for vehicles. So that's already filling out my motor expenses with the VAT. I'm happy to accept all of those, and I can update them so I can accept them into my system. So that's all of our transactions entered. What happens when we enter when we review our transactions? They move from the review tab to the categorized. So all of those transactions I've just entered are sitting in here. If I need to make a change, I can click undo. So you've just seen a way of getting information into QuickBooks really quickly and accurately. There's no more typing the figures and maybe mistyping. So the more I use it, the more it learns, and then the more time it can save me. Even better, I can do this banking on the mobile app in the transactions area. So I don't need to be sat at my laptop. I can even be sat on my sofa updating my bank. By recording all of this information into QuickBooks, I'm up to date with my books, and so any reports I now run will have this information in real time. So that can help me make financial decisions. Let's have a look at the receipts that I processed earlier. So I go to the receipts up in the top bar. So here we can see that we've got this photograph here, and this is the paperwork that I photographed earlier. So I can click on review. So not only am I entering the data into QuickBooks, I've also got my photo attached to it. So I can say where it was paid from. I can say the payment date. The postage and delivery has been recognised. It knows that post office, and that is the code I normally use. It's recognised the amount. All I need to say is the tax type. So it's exempt. I can click save and next. It's not found any matches, and so I can create an expense. So this is another quick way of getting data into QuickBooks, with the added benefit of having a photograph. So now that we've got all of our data into QuickBooks, what about a VAT return? Maybe if you're VAT registered. So all this time we've been adding data into our books. We've also been compiling our VAT return. So when we choose the VAT rate on our entries, QuickBooks knows whether it's a sale or a purchase, and so puts these entries into the correct boxes on our return. I don't need a calculator to total up these figures, as it does it all for me. You can send the VAT return directly to HMRC, and you can do this from the taxes area on the left-hand menu. So we've been having a look at, throughout the session, how the mobile app can help you run your business. So it's a brilliant tool at your fingertips, and there's loads of other features specifically for the app to try out. So maybe I'll just show you the mileage tracker. So if you claim the mileage allowance, the app has a built-in mileage tracker. We can turn on auto tracking. So whenever you jump in your work van, go and visit a customer, it will record the mileage. It will come into the unreviewed area, where you can swipe left for business to say it's a business trip, or right for personal. That's a really good way of not forgetting to claim for all of your business expenses. So let's take a look at reporting. I'm going to go to Reports on the left-hand menu. We've got all of our data in. Now let's see how that all comes together in the reports, and how you can start finding out a bit more about your business and answering those burning questions like, how much money have I made? So if you've been using spreadsheets to record your business transactions, then you'll be used to totaling up columns, maybe turning them into a profit and loss, using a bit of data manipulation and maybe a pivot table. However, if you're using QuickBooks, then all of this is done for you. We can see that we've got this whole range of reports. There's over 60 available. And all of these are our standard reports. So let's get started with a nice visual report. It's the business snapshot. This is quite similar to the dashboard. So if figures aren't your thing, we've got some nice pretty pie charts, which you can drill down. You can see the little hand. So that means you can drill down into the figures. And it gives us a nice little description visual description of how much where our profit and loss is. And we can look at the expenses and see the breakdown of our expenses. We can change the date range at the top here if we wanted to. Scrolling down, we can look at our previous year comparison. So we've got financial year 2020 and looking at 2021. Similarly with our expenses. And at the bottom here, we've got a list of all of the customers that owe us and who we owe. So the business snapshot is a really nice little report showing you a lot of information. I'll go back to the reports area. So you can use the search bar here to find a specific report, or you might want to just see all of the profit and loss reports. I'll be running that one next. So you can see that we've got lots of different profit and losses, and I'm going to choose this profit and loss comparison. This is probably everybody's favourite report. See how much money we've made and if we've made a profit. So at the top here, we can see our income. We've got two different columns, one for this year and one for last year. So we've got the income at the top, going down to our total income. And then we've got our cost of sales coming off of that figure, leaving us our gross profit. Then we've got our expenses and all of our overheads. And then we come down to the figure at the bottom, which is our net income. Again, you can drill down into those detailed figures if you wanted to. So this is a really nice visual way of seeing where our money is being spent. At the top here, we can change the date range. So if I didn't want to look at this financial year, I can look at this month and run report. So we can see that in February, I had a profit of £9,000. This is really going to help you with your cash flow. So you can see the breakdown of your expenses, maybe where you can save a little bit of money, and also see which sales are bringing in the most. A balance sheet is a good report to have a look at every now and then. It shows you the balances in each of your accounts. So we've got our assets at the top here, moving down to our liabilities, and then showing us our capital and reserves. So this is a good one just to keep an eye on. A couple more reports to show you is the accounts payable aging summary. Bit of a mouthful, but basically this is all of the bills that we have entered and all of the money that we have going out. It's broken down into different time ranges, so we can see who is very overdue that we need to pay and who is becoming due. So this is going to help you decide when to pay these suppliers. The next one is our accounts receivable, so we can see which customers owe us. Again, it's broken down into different time ranges, but we can see who we need to start chasing, who we need to phone up and say, is there a problem with our invoice? And then when we see the bit earlier, so the current ones we've made only have just raised that invoice, and then we've got the 1 to 30 that need to have a little bit of a nudge. So that's a little tour of our reports in QuickBooks. Don't be afraid to give it a go. Use that search box at the top. You might want to just look at all of the customer reports and see your income by customer.
So that brings me to the end of my tour of QuickBooks Online with you. So what are my key takeaways? I've shown you how quick and easy it is to get around QuickBooks and use it to run your business and keep track of your cash flow. How linking your bank is a quick and accurate way to record your data, and it's going to save you a lot of time. Many accountants may rarely use the mobile app, and your accountant may not have even mentioned it to you. But if you're a business owner, one of the first things you should do is to download the mobile app. Many of my clients find it invaluable.
and we've seen how powerful it can be to have your business data with you anytime, anywhere. So I know that's a lot of information to take in, but as you start working with QuickBooks, you'll see there is loads of fantastic support available to you. We've got the customer care team on the phone and a whole host of training for people at all levels, whether you're a business owner, bookkeeper or accountant, all free of charge, which you can find on the QuickBooks website. There is Facebook groups and the QuickBooks community. So I just want to say thank you for being with me on this session, and I hope you found this introduction to QuickBooks helpful. Thank you.